Well, hi everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I think we're ready to kick off this event, and what a special day. When you poll medical students, when we polled medical students a number of years ago and asked them, well, what other degree would you like in addition to your DO degree? The top two choices was MPH and MBA. So I think today is a really special day to kick off our dual degree in osteopathic medicine and public health with our collaboration with Marshall University. This is an important moment, I think, in the school's history, in that we're now offering other degrees for our DO students, and I think it's great. I think it's great. It increases your opportunities, and certainly in light of COVID and the challenges we face in public health, I think it's exciting for our students to be able to have an opportunity to really delve deep into this area and get that training so that they can go out and even make a bigger impact on communities and on population health. This could not happen. This collaboration just could not happen without working with others, and certainly this couldn't have happened without working with Marshall University. We've had a long-time relationship with the school. I was telling Dr. Pruitt, over the years I've just seen our collaboration and our relationship with Marshall University just continue to grow and grow. We have an excellent relationship with their School of Medicine, and now we're establishing this relationship with their public health program. As President Brad Smith, who couldn't be here today, and I often say is, we're better, we're stronger when we work together, and I truly believe that. The other thing I want to acknowledge is this doesn't happen without dedicated people here exploring these opportunities and making them happen for you. Ultimately, this is for you. It's for our students. It's to enhance your education. But it takes leadership, and I couldn't be more thankful for the leadership of Dr. Linda Boyd, our VP for Academic Affairs and Dean. And she is the one that helped lead and making this collaboration possible, but also Dr. Brian Griffith, who really did a lot of the work, a lot of the background work. Because as you hear about this program, there was a lot of consideration to the DO curriculum and how you can get credit for what you're currently studying to help you get your MPH. So I really appreciate the efforts made by Dr. Boyd and Dr. Griffith and others, and especially our special guest here today, Dr. Pruitt. This is certainly a great day for WVSOM, for Marshall, and for our students. Again, thank you for being here, and I'd like to now introduce our VP for Academic Affairs and Dean, Dr. Linda Boyd.
Thanks, Dr. Nimitz. We are very excited about this joint DO-MPH program. And when we discovered that MBA and MPH were the two most popular extra degrees that medical students were interested in nationally, and then confirmed that with a survey of our own students, we went out looking for partners, potential partners. And I say we, but I really mean Dr. Griffith, because Dr. Griffith has been the engine behind this partnership. And I want to thank him for all the work that he did in getting us started and also moving us along. So we looked at we really talked about wanting to go with an in-state partner if possible, and the choice for Marshall was really easy because they already had a very well-established MPH program, and Dr. Pruitt's going to tell you more details about it. They have recently just done a revamp of their MPH program. They have a new director, And they had already had the experience of offering their own MPH program to their own MD students, so they had that collaboration with a medical school available to us. And so we worked together to figure out how could we streamline the MPH program for our students so that it could all be accomplished in 1 year. And one of the ways that we did that was we looked at our 2 curricula, and we were in the midst of a curriculum change, so we actually looked at our 2 curricula as well as the Marshall's curricula, and how could that be, how could we save some credits? So we were able to save 6 credits where Marshall courses and our courses overlapped, where they could grant us 6 credits towards the master's program from the work that our students do in the first 2 years. So that was great. And then you were able to accomplish the MPH program in 1 calendar year. So typically students are going to take off between their 2nd and 3rd year. That's when most students nationally will do their dual degree if they're going to do that. But you would have the opportunity to do it between your 3rd and 4th year if you want. And there have been occasions in my experience where students, after they get out into the clinical world, they see how important public health really is in the impact on healthcare in the communities. And you might not know that until you actually get into patient care. So we want to offer that opportunity for students where the light bulb goes off and say, hey, I really think this would be a way that I would like to impact my work and maybe look at a broader section of healthcare. And so between 3rd and 4th year is an opportunity, but we also want to offer it for students who may want to do it after, at the end of their 4th year by extending their graduation. And that is an opportunity that we will allow as well. We have the same opportunities with our MBA program, our dual degree, where you can do it at 3 points. And I think that this makes it more flexible and interesting for our students. A lot of schools are very rigid, where you have to do your dual degree between 2nd and 3rd year, and there's no other opportunity. But I think this flexibility allows for our students' choice to come when it may and have that opportunity to do it whenever. Marshall has been great to work with. You're going to hear from Dr. Pruitt, who's the provost for the healthcare sciences, and Dr. Wowert, who cannot be with us today, who also was a big part of our of this program and this dual degree program. So we're really excited about this, and I want you to hear about the program specifically from Dr. Pruitt. So with that, we're very grateful that Dr. Pruitt drove down from Marshall today, from Huntington, and made the trip to Lewisburg, and thankfully it was a nice day weather-wise for him, for a nice drive. And he's going to talk to you about the program. For students who are in the room that might be interested, there are papers on some of the front tables that will walk you through the curriculum, and so feel free to come up if you don't have one at your table and grab one. And Dr. Griffith is able to get you extras if you need some to look at as well. So with that, I'd like to introduce Dr. Pruitt.
Thank you, Dr. Boyd. And Dr. Nimitz, for all your support. And I know you and Brad are great friends and known each other for a long time, and that collaboration really comes through very strongly with you and Brad, so I appreciate that. And finally, really to Dr. Griffin, he approached me one day and sort of began a conversation with me about what interest he might have in joining the public health program for your students. And so that began a long conversation, many FaceTimes, many Teams meetings, and finally we've sort of put together a plan that I think is doable. And it's really in your best interest, I think, to do that. So what I thought I would do this afternoon, or for a brief time, is, and there are other copies up front if you need a copy of the study plan, but I'm going to go through like 4 or 5 slides that Dr. Wart's prepared to kind of give you an overview of the department and then of the program. And then we'll talk a little bit about the study plan. And then once the slides are off, then Dr. Wart will join us by Teams. He's actually attending the National Association of Public Health in Minneapolis today. So he'll be on the screen and be able to answer any questions we might have as well. So with that, we'll go ahead and start. Just a quick overview of the Department of Public Health at Marshall. It's got several entities, and Dr. Wart, who's been here several years now, has done an awesome job of establishing the program and the program, the didactic program, and then also adding a certificate program. And then early on, we established the Minority Health Institute, which is a statewide program designed to really help with our state partners in public health to facilitate the health and care of those vulnerable populations, particularly throughout the state and the region in Appalachia. And he's been quite successful in garnering many, many grants, from federal grants and from state grants in terms of the things we do. I don't have to really tell you much about what public health is, but I just wanted to share with you some of the things that you may not know about, but it's a interdisciplinary field, and it really is designed to help promote and help restore those vulnerable populations and help those with increase or decrease the burden of disease in population health. It's not necessarily by patient, but it's population, and it's a different way of looking more what you would do as a practitioner in medicine. Your focus is on the patient as well. So I think it's a great combination. It's a great complement to your medicine degree in public health, and I think it's going to be a really important concept to help foster the really shortage of public health professionals in this state, in this region. I won't go through that, but it's important to note that the program is accredited by the Council on Education and for Public Health, and so we're up for another accreditation visit next year. And so be assured that once you finish the program, then you're graduating from an accredited program, and that's very important. That's one thing you ought to know about and ask about in the future for these kinds of programs. A little bit about Marshall University. You know, we've just moved into the second rank of joining 16% of the other institutions in the country at an R2 status, research intensive program, where we're very proud of that. We were excited and surprised that we were approached by the Carnegie Foundation and was awarded the R2 status. So it's a really nice feature in our grant our grant productivity has increased over the last 3 years significantly, and President Smith's goal by 2030 is to have $150 million in research funding, and we're about $75 million right now. So we're well on our way. The last 3 years has been an indication we're going to make that. The nice thing about the public health program is it's a small program, less than 20 graduate students per class. With your interest, that'll probably grow a little bit, but we'd still like to keep you. As you join the program and attend, we'd like to make sure that you're collaborating with other classmates that you may not see as much that are on campus and so forth. I'll say too that one of our recent additions to the faculty is Dr. Wang. Started in the fall semester in really a master, I think, and we're going to be hearing a lot more from him in the future. He's established the Center for the Global Health Institute on our campus. It's a campus-wide activity that's centered in the public health department. And so he comes from China, and his last stop was at Baylor University, where he's quite well known internationally in sponsoring programs for international programs in terms of collaboration with other partners to establish and better the population in other countries. And his last conference he convened in China had over 500 attendees, and the focus was on public health issues. So these are just a smattering. These are areas that you could specialize in and so forth. The two that I think are important to note for our campus and our program is that global health and community health are very, very popular and front and center, and that's one thing that we'll be focused on a lot. So we do have a new faculty member that's somewhat of an expertise in epidemiology, and is working with other countries and on those on a larger scale and that sort of thing. This is just a listing of the courses, which is the same on your study plan. And again, if you don't get a copy, make sure get with Brian, and he can get you copies of this program. And it's designed. It's not necessarily designed to do it in sequence. There's a couple prerequisite courses that you have to have before going to another one. But it's really designed to. It's 44 credit hours, but the 6 credit hours that you'll get from transfer. And if you've got a copy of the study plan, everything that I put an asterisk by is the ones that will transfer from your campus to Marshall that you won't have to take again. So, which is nice. So you're down to about 36 hours, something like that. So this is Dr. Ward's contact information. And why don't you go ahead, if you can, and turn this program off, and I'll introduce Anthony, and we'll take for questions. We're happy that we're really happy about this collaboration. It's something that we've looked forward to for a long time, and we thank you all for coming. This is Dr. Ward, Anthony Ward, and he's, as I mentioned, he's currently attending the American Public Health Association meeting in Minneapolis, the annual conference, and for some reason we missed the fact that it was overlapping with this meeting today. So we wanted to make sure that you met him and we joined. And if you had any questions for him or for me about the program, we'd be happy to address those. Brian and I were talking before this began today that probably the first start date with this program will be probably summer of '25. And so, and if you have interest in that, maybe, Brian, there could be like a sign up, or just by signing up doesn't mean you're committed. It just means there's interest, and we'd like to keep in touch with you over the time. So that would be one thing we could start with. And it's going to be a combination of online and hybrid courses. So don't necessarily need to be in Huntington to take these courses, although that will be available as well. I know that many of you will probably be in one of the 7 clinical sites in the state, and I think there's maybe 1 or 2 that are close to Huntington as well. So that's another option that we can provide for you. So we want to be as flexible as we can. And Anthony, is there anything you want to say, address the group? We have a good group here today.
Yes, good afternoon. This is such a great pleasure to be with you, although I'm not with you in person, but I'm with you in spirit. And I look forward to working with you, and I hope all of you understand that 6 of you are ready to join us in summer, and I look forward to receiving you and accepting you into the program, and I'm available to answer any question that you may have.
Anthony, you might talk about the practicum experience they have, and there's a kind of a capstone course and an opportunity to work with other students, and mentioned a couple of grant programs that you were involved in, that they could possibly be involved with that as well.
Yeah, sure. So our program has several unique characteristics. One of them is the size of our class, which is small, which allows you to participate well in the courses. The other unique characteristics of our program is that all of our courses throughout the program are offered each semester. For other schools, only certain courses are offered in each semester, but for every semester, spring and fall, we offer all of our courses. And so this is very, very important for you to know.
Any questions you might have, Dr. Boyd? Talk about the tuition. The tuition, it's Marshall tuition, and I think in terms of the application process, you would apply to our graduate school, which is, they changed their names, Graduate Studies now, the Office of Graduate Studies, and Dr. Carl Mumbert is the Associate Provost, and once I have names of students who are interested and want to start in, say, this next summer, then I'll pass those names, and the application process will start with him, and they'll make sure that there's not any hiccups along the way in terms of getting through the grad school. for that sort of thing to happen. Once the application gets to the Graduate Studies Office, then it comes back to Dr. Wart for his approval. And I think there's just a few requirements for that your school has in terms of being ready to start our program. But I think that once you are nearing finish the program, then the 6 credit hours from your program will transfer and be transcript on a Marshall transcript, so you'll have a degree from Marshall as well. You can look on, there's a, it's going up next year, but I don't know what the graduate tuition rate is. It's just been approved just for fall of 25, so there's a new rate that'll be in there, and it's both for in-state, out-of-state, and so forth. Any financial aid that you have will also be sent to our financial aid office and be taken care of there as well, if any of it needs to be applied towards your tuition at Marshall. Yes, ma'am.
I was just wondering, what does the application process look like for us?
It's just a standard application for grad school. You indicate the major you want to, and so forth. And I'm sorry I don't have a copy with me to look at. You've seen a bunch of them, Anthony.
Yes, let me add that first of all, when you send in your application, it goes to Graduate Studies, and Graduate Studies reviews your application and send it to the department, which comes directly to me. I will review your application and either deny you or give you conditional admission or full admission. Conditional admissions could range from such factors as you did not send in your letters of support, or your GPA is below what we accept, and we gave you a year to at least a semester to address those deficiencies.
No GRE is required. And
So I just wanted to say that, so what would normally happen if you're a student here at WVSOM is you would reach out to me. If you're in good academic standing at WVSOM, in other words, you've passed all of your classes, you've completed year 2 or completed year 3 or 4, as Dr. Boyd mentioned, I will then refer your names to Marshall for acceptance into the program. And if everything goes according to plan, you would then start at that next cycle. So that summer, so our first cycle that will open up will be summer of 2025. So if any second years are interested and you indicate an interest, you send me your names. As long as you're in good academic standing, I'll forward the names to Marshall University. You'll get accepted into the program. You'll have to go through their financial aid office to get financial aid from Marshall University for that 1 year. And then when you finish that program, you'll come back to WVSOM and then complete years 3 and years 4. If you go at the end of year 3, you'll come back to WVSOM and complete year 4. If you go at the end of year 4, then you'll just graduate with both your DO and your MPH degree after you finish your Marshall program. Does that kind of make sense? Everybody's cool with that? So, go ahead.
On your transcript, for the medical students who take the year, what will show up on your medical school WVSOM transcript is it will see dual degree for that academic year that you're gone. So it won't be a leave of absence or just a blank spot in your application on your transcript. And then on your medical student performance evaluation that goes to your residency directors, there's a section where they ask if you took any time away from the DO program, and then your dual degree will be listed in that so that all of your time is accounted for, and that's important for your residency applications.
So seeing as this is typically a 2-year program, how possible do you think it would be to participate in research during our just 1 year there?
I think it's possible, particularly during the summers. I don't know I don't know really your schedules during the summer, but that's a good time. And it's a good time for our faculty as well, because their teaching load is a little bit lighter and so forth. But I think there's great likelihood. And Dr. Ward is a good scientist and a good researcher. And I think with our 3 faculty that we have right now, they're all research-intensive folks that I think there's a great opportunities, particularly in global health or in really population health, which in what Anthony focuses on, particularly in vulnerable populations and minority health.
Let me also add that one of the characteristics of our program, as Dr. Pruitt said, is that we have Minority Health Institute, which also conducts research. And personally, I have been one of the reviewers for NIH for the last 20 years. And so that gives you an opportunity if you wanted to do NIH research, I could be your mentor.
Thank you. I have one more question regarding that
Go
same
ahead.
thing. So do current students typically only participate in research during the summer
No, but
or also during the academic year?
can you can answer that, Anthony?
No, not during the summer. We are a small program with limited resources, and so the faculty that participate in summer research are those that have the time. But as Dr. Pruitt said, we now establish a campus-wide Institute for Global Health, and Dr. Wayne is an expert, and I'm sure he will be conducting research, and you will partner with him. Also, what we provide is experience in writing grants. You know, you cannot do a research without having a grant, either through NIH or other federal agency or non-governmental agency, and we provide that opportunity through Minority Health Institute and now Global Health Institute.
Yeah, the Global Health Initiative will extend beyond our college as well. With our 10 programs, academic programs in the college, the intention is to involve the campus in terms of global health. We have many colleagues across campus, particularly in the PsyD program, counseling programs and so forth, that will involve it'll be a lot of collaboration, interdisciplinary collaboration, so, and which we are very much a part in our college.
I just want to mention one more thing. As students graduate from both the MPH program and our DO program, it is our goal that they be recognized at both ceremonies. But as you finish your DO and during the graduation ceremony, you will be recognized that you received both degrees during your time at WVSOM. So you will also be recognized during our graduation ceremony at the end of your 4 years at WVSOM. So it'll be a great honor. Also, as Dr. Boyd mentioned, for your residency application, that is a phenomenal, like you completed your MPH, your MBA program, and so it's a great partnership to allow students to basically take one extra year and get an MPH degree while getting their DO degree. So I just want to mention that. Any other questions, comments? I will more than happy to walk the mic around.
So also I need to add that I bear good news. This year we ended our first 5 years of accreditation, and we sent in our self-study for the next 7 years, and the evaluation comments were promising. We are now only expecting site visits, so definitely we are certain that the program will be accredited for the next 7 years.
I just had a question just to make sure I was understanding clearly, like for this 1 year of the MPH program, is there like an estimate of how often students are expected to be in Huntington? Like for example, if maybe we weren't planning to live in Lewisburg anymore or live back home and just like that.
Yeah, the intention really is a combination of online and hybrid, where in hybrid, by hybrid I mean there's a combination of online, plus you also would be seeing your classmates in Huntington as well at the same time. So so that's the intention. That very few, and I think some have expressed interest in being at Huntington during some of the time. So and that's fine as well. But I think we're trying to be just as flexible as we can, knowing that we're 3 hours apart, and it's not easy to get back and forth, particularly in the winter months and so forth. So that's our plan. Yeah.
And then I had a question. Oh, sorry.
No, I just wanted to add that at least we have 2 courses in the program that are online, and because we know this is a graduate program, we offer a significant number of the courses in the evening after work hours. So I think that's a very good incentive to mention.
And then I was just going to ask, maybe this is more for our faculty here, if you all had any suggestions or of kind of how we maintain our medical knowledge going into third-year rotations? I know dual degrees happen often, but just if that's probably a common thought of how to feel prepared for a rotation.
I'll give that to Dr. Boyd.
Depending on where you are, it is nice to maintain some clinical skills, but since you're not an enrolled student with WVSOM while you're at Marshall, it makes it a little bit more difficult, just in terms of liability insurance and other kinds of things. You would be allowed to do shadowing experiences, for example, but hands-on clinic experience would be difficult. So you'd have to work with friends or family to kind of keep your H&P skills up in particular. And you wouldn't be going into the program until after you finish level 1 of your boards. So that would be behind you. But it's a really good thing to be thinking about. But you'll be surprised how much clinical integration the public health degree will offer you. So you'll have opportunity. You'll be talking about chronic disease management, for example, is one of the courses, but that'll be discussed throughout a lot of the different programs. So you'll have the opportunity to learn more about, why is asthma more prevalent in cities, and, those kinds of things, and really refresh some of your clinical knowledge. And so hopefully that, if you're proactive about it, you should be fine.
And I need to mention something about practicum, which is a major requirement for the course, for the program, and that we have partnerships with the Bureau of Public Health, West Virginia Bureau of Public Health, as well as most of the state's health department. And we place you. You don't have to look for your own site. We provide you the site. We have a number of sites that we can choose from based on your interests. Those that are interested in epidemiology, most of the time they choose to work to do their practicum at the Bureau of Public Health. At the end of the practicum period, you will present your experiences at the faculty meeting.
So I know I know others are going to get mad at me, but this was not just Dr. Boyd and I, and so I would ask if Lisa Spencer, Jennifer Seams, Dawn also helped out, Dawn Smith, please stand and get a round of applause for all your help as well, for all your work on this. Thank you. I'll turn it back over to close out today's festivity. Thank you.
Just want to end by saying I appreciate the offer to come and talk with all of you, and certainly this is a work in progress for a lot of us on, in terms of how we start. Again, we're starting on summer 25, so if there's interest, then let me know, and let Dr. Griffin know as well, and we can start that process whenever you're ready to do so. But I'll be down here in front for a few minutes after we're done, and if you have additional questions you want to ask. Thank you again.
Thank you.